Hello everyone. So we are starting a new discussion series on the modern Indian history. So we'll be starting a discussion based on the questions and their explanation. Okay. So these are the questions with respect to the prelims examination. Okay. This is basically a coaching institute question. So this is how we will be proceeding. Okay, before this lecture series we have already done with one of the complete explanation with a question solution discussion of the quality section, so you can have that also on our channel. So let us start. So the first question is that consider the following events. So what is the correct chronological sequence of the above events? Okay. So if you see the previous question, then you will find that there are in last I think 5 years from 2022 onwards, 4 years there has been this type of question. There has been increase in the chronological sequence type of question. Okay, so you will find every year one or two question will come from directly with regard to the chronological sequence. Okay, so this is how this type of question becomes very difficult. Okay, because you have to remember everything with regard to their formation date. Okay, the personality, sometimes they also ask that. So first is the East India Association in London. So then Landholders Society in Calcutta, then Madras Native Association, then Bengal British Indian Society. Okay, so these are the few societies of, and we have to just arrange them in chronological order based on their formation date. Okay, so I don't remember exact date, therefore we will be moving to see the explanation part. Okay, so what is the format? I will be reading out everything for your convenience, and whenever there I find anything important, then I will try to emphasize and try to give further explanation of that thing. Okay, so let us understand. So the correct chronological sequence of the four early Indian political association is the Landlords Society in Calcutta. So first, the Landlord Society was the first, which was formed in Calcutta. Okay, in 1838. Then you have Bengal British Indian Society, 1843. Bengal British Indian Society, 1843. Then you have Madras Native Association, 1852. Then you have East India Association in London, 1866. Okay, so 2431. Okay, now let us understand a little bit more. So the Jamindari Association, considered the first political association in modern India, was formally established in Calcutta in 1838. It was soon after renamed the Landlord Society. Its members included well-known personalities such as Dwarka Tagore, founder Prasanna Kumar Tagore, Rajkamal Sen, and Bhavani Charan Mitra. The primary objective of society was to promote landholders' interest through petitions to the government. It also had on its agenda the demand for reform of the judiciary, the police, and the revenue departments. Although limited in its objectives, the Landholders Society marked the beginning of organized political activity and the use of constitutional agitation methods to address grievances. The Bengal British India Society was founded in 1843 with the object of the collection and dissemination of information relating to actual condition of the people of British India, and to employ such other means of peaceful and lawful character as may appear calculated to secure the welfare, extend the just rights, and advance the interest of the all classes of our fellow subjects. But unlike the introvert Jamindari Association representing solely the interest of the landed aristocracy, the Bengal British India Society was an organization dominated by a section of the Bengal intellectuals, particularly by the Young Bengal group that boasted of their Western education and awareness. In 1851, both the Landlord Society and Bengal British India Society merged into the British Indian Association. The Madras Native Association (MNA), established in 1852 in present-day Chennai, was the first Indian political association formed in the Madras Presidency. Founded by Gejula Lakshmina Resu Chetty, the MNA was the political hub of the landed gentry of the presidency, who had grievances against the company rule. The impending discussion in the British Parliament regarding company rule is in India provided the impetus to the formation of MNA. The East India Association was also organized by Dadabhai Naoroji in 1866. So this is important. So East India Association was East India Association was organized by Dadabhai Naoroji in 1866 in London to discuss the Indian question and the influence public man in England to promote Indian welfare. Later branches of the association were started in the prominent Indian cities. It was a political advocacy group for India comprising both British and Indian members. It was the first political organization with members from different provinces of India. So correct chronology order is 2431. Now moving to the next question, question number second. Which of the following were the main objectives of the Theosophical Society? Theosophical Society. So you have the to form a universal Theosophical Society. So they are asking about the objectives of the Theosophical Society. Okay, so first of all, you need to understand that who was the founder of the Theosophical Society. So Theosophical Society was started by Madam H.P. Balavasi and Colonel H.S. Olcott in New York in 1875 to collect and diffuse knowledge of the laws which govern the universe. Okay, in 1882 they relocated their headquarters to Adyar on the outskirts of Madras, now Chennai in India. Now let us see the objectives of Theosophical Society. So to form a universal brotherhood of man, yes, that is correct. To spread Christianity in the world, no, this is not correct, because this a Theosophical Society was basically based on the rational and promoting rational and scientific temperament among the people or thinking. Okay, whatever you can say, and modern education as well. So this is wrong. So if we eliminate two, so the three options out of four have gone. So only D is the correct answer. So we arrive this. Okay, the correct answer this way. We arrive the correct answer. Now three, to promote the study of ancient religions and philosophies. Correct. To investigate the powers innate in man. So this is also correct. And another, to promulgate the knowledge of essential unity of all, that is, and to demonstrate that that this unity is fundamental in nature. So this is also correct. Now further elaboration, the society believed that a special relationship could be established between a person's soul and good and God through contemplation, prayer and revelation. It accepted Hindu beliefs in reincarnation and karma and drew inspiration from the philosophy of the Upanishads, Samkhya, Yoga and Vedanta. The mission of Theosophical Society is to serve humanity by cultivating an ever deepening understanding and realization of ageless wisdom, a spiritual self transformation, and the unity of all life. The objectives of the Theosophical Society was to demonstrate that the oneness of all life is a fact in nature, and to form a nucleus of a universal brotherhood. So statement one is correct. Then it encourages the study of ancient and modern religions, sciences and philosophy. So statement 3 is correct. To investigate the powers innate in man. So statement 4 is correct. To promulgate the knowledge of the essential unity of all, and to demonstrate that this unity is fundamental in nature. So statement 5 is also correct. The Theosophical Society's objective was not to spread Christianity. It aimed to work for the universal brotherhood of humanity. So statement two is not correct. Now additional information. The Theosophical movement in India. The Theosophical movement became popular with the election of Annie Besant as its president after the death of Olcott in 1907. Annie Besant had come to India in 1893. She laid the foundation of the Central Hindu College in Benares in 1898, where the Hindu religion and Western scientific subjects were taught. The college became the nucleus of for the formation of Banaras Hindu University in 1916. Annie Besant also made significant contribution to the cause of women's education. Now, role of Theosophical Society. Theosophists rejected conversions and believed in a spiritual and occult mysticism. Theosophical culture played a significant role in India's Hindu resurgence, contributing to a certain degree of social unity. In addition, the Theosophists focused on caste evolution, untouchability, and theory of assimilation. They really tried to render the oppressed segments appropriate to society and incorporate them. They attempted to strengthen the contributions of socially excluded by enabling them to access conventional schooling. In this regard, Annie Besant also founded various educational societies and promoted the need for modern education. Now, impact. Now, let us understand the impact of the Theosophical Society. Their work. Okay, so since they have done, they have their objectives like. To demonstrate that the oneness of all life is a fact in nature and to form a nucleus of a universal brotherhood. Okay, then they were also encouraging encourages the they also encourages the study of they also encourage the study of ancient and modern religions, sciences and philosophies, and they also were trying to do to investigate the powers innate in man and to promulgate the knowledge of the essential unity of all and to demonstrate that this unity is fundamental in nature. So basically these things were the objectives of the Theosophical Society. So there were certainly certain impacts of all these objectives. So let us understand that thing. So impact the Theosophical Society provided a common denominator for the various sects and fulfill the urge of educated Hindus. Okay, so they have provided a common denominator. Okay, common denominator means that for various sections of society there will be a single one denominator. Okay, so that is called the common denominator for various sects and fulfill the urge of educated Hindus. However, to an average Indian, the theosophist philosophy seemed vague and lacking a positive program. To that extent, its impact was limited to a small segment of the westernized class. As religious revivalist, the theosophist did not achieve much success. However, as a movement of Westerner West Westerns glorifying Indian religious and philosophical tradition, it gave much needed self-respect to Indians fighting against British colonial rule. Viewed from another angle, the Theosophists also had the effect of giving a false sense of pride to the Indians in their outdated and sometimes backwards looking traditions and philosophy. So, this is now next question. Consider the following statement about Pandit Iswarchand Vidyasagar. Okay, so you know that the Pandit Iswarchand Vidyasagar was one of the prominent social reformer in India, particularly in Bengal. Why? Because he was a firm advocate of women education. Okay, so let us see struggle in favor of widow remarriage. Yes, because of him, Widow Remarriage Act was passed in 1856 with the support of Lord Bentinck also. Okay, so then he also opposed child marriage and polygamy. Yes, that is also correct. Campaign in favor of the education of women. Yes, that is correct. Evolve a new technique of teaching Sanskrit and a modern prose style in Bengali. I don't know about this. Became the principal of the Sanskrit College at Calcutta and admitted non-Brahmin students into it. Yes, that is correct. So Pandit Iswar Chand Vidyasagar. So he struggled in favor of widow remarriage. He opposed child marriage and polygamy. He campaigned in favor of the education of women. Evolved a new technique of teaching Sanskrit and a modern prose style in Bengali, and he became the principal of Sanskrit College at Calcutta and admitted non-Brahmin students into it. So all of them, as we have already see, are correct. Now explanation. So Ishwarchand Vidyasagar was an Indian educator and social reformer, considered the father of Bengali prose. Okay, so he is considered the father of Bengali prose. Okay, so there is a poetry and there is a prose. Okay, so Vidyasagar's ideas were a blend of Indian and Western thought. So his ideas were blend of Indian and Western thought. He believed in high moral values, was a deep humanist, and was generous to the people, to the poor. Vidyasagar was well read in English literature and was influenced by Western ideas. Although an orthodox high caste Brahmin, he took a leading part in social reform movements, notably a successful campaign to legalize remarriage of widows, many of whom had been married off as children. So statement 1 is correct. He opposed child marriage and polygamy and did much to promote the education of girls, but his reforming zeal met with much opposition from Orthodox Hindus. So student 2 is correct. As government inspector of schools, he helped organize 35 girls schools, many of which he ran at his own expense. As secretary of Bethune School, he was one of the pioneers of higher education for women in India. So statement 3 is correct. In 1850, he became the principal of Sanskrit College. He was determined to break the priestly monopoly of scripture knowledge, and for this, he opened the Sanskrit College to non-Brahmins. So statement 5 is also correct. Now he introduced Western thought in Sanskrit college to break the self-imposed isolation of Sanskritic learning. As an academician, he developed a new methodology to teach Sanskrit. New methodology to teach Sanskrit. He also devised a new Bengali primer and evolved a new style, prose style. So statement 4 is correct. Now certain additional information. So Vidyasagar followed in great reformist tradition of Raja Ram Mohan Roy and argued on the basis of sculptures and old commentaries in favor of the remarriage of widows in the same way as Roy did for the abolition of sati. Okay, evolution of sati was related to Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, you know very well. In January and October 1855, Vidyasagar wrote his two famous tracts on marriage of Hindu widows, basing his argument entirely on reason and logic, showing that there was no prohibition on widows remarrying in the entire body of Smriti literature, the Sutras and Shastras. So his argument was that there was no prohibition on widows remarrying in the entire body of Smriti literature, that is Sutras and Shastras. Now on October on 14 October 1855, Vidyasagar presented a petition to the government of India praying for early consideration of the property of passing a law as an act to remove all obstacles to the marriage of Hindu widows and to declare the issue of all such marriages to be legitimate. On 16 July 1856, the Hindu Widows Remarriage Act, known as Act 15, was passed. Inspired by Vidyasagar, a number of literary men produced dramas advocating the remarriage of widows both in Bengal and elsewhere. Now let us look at the, so we done this discussion very well on Vidyasagar. Okay, I hope that any question, if at all comes in the future, then we will be able to mark it correct. Okay, and we'll be able to get 2 marks. Okay, now question, moving to the next question, which is question number 4. Which initiative was launched by the Ministry of Panchayat Raj to strengthen the leadership capacity? No, see, we are just going to do the modern history question. Okay, not anything which is related to current affairs. Okay, outside our text or subject. Okay, so famous Kundra proclaims which are mainly call for taking against. So we can discuss this, but this type of question will not is very rare. Okay, so we'll leave this type of question. Okay, now women organization founders. So this is important. So women's, because in the men's, if you see, the women's are explicitly written. Okay, so that is why it is important. So let us see. So question number 6. Consider the following pairs, and so there are women organizations, four women organizations, and their founders they have given, and we have to trace out whether they are all of them are correctly matched, or some of them are matched with whom. Okay, so that is the thing. So according to answer, only two are correct. Okay, so let us see. So the National Council of Women in India, a national branch of the International Council of Women, was formed in 1925. uh, uh, Mehri Bai Tata played a vital role in its formation and advancement. She opined that Parda system, caste differences, and lack of education prevented women from working to solve societal problems. Notable leaders on its executive committee as follow. So these are not important for us. Okay, uh, so India's first women barrister was Cornelia Sorabji. Okay, so National Council of Women in Education. So Mehri Vai Tata. So this is correct basically. Okay. So we will highlight all those options which are correct. Okay. Then I think second is Arya Mahila Samaj. Okay. Then you have Pandita Ramabai Saraswati founded the Arya Mahila Samaj to serve the cause of women. She pleaded for the improvement in the education syllabus of Indian women before the English Education Commission. Okay, pleaded means she basically requested for the improvement in the educational syllabus of Indian women before the English Education Commission, which was referred to Queen Victoria. Okay, now this resulted in the medical education. This resulted in the medical education for women, which started in Lady Dufferin College. Subsequently, Ramabai Ranade carried forward this mission by founding a branch of Arya Mahila Samaj in Bombay. Okay, so he has carried forward this mission by founding a branch of Arya Mahila Samaj in Bombay. So Pandita Ramabai Saraswati. Okay, so Pandita Ramabai Saraswati was the founder of Arya Mahila Samaj. So that is also true. So only these two are correct. Now let us see next. Now Ramabai Ranade, uh, so Pandita Ramabai Saraswati. Now Ramabai Ranade founded the Ladies Social Conference, Bharat Mahila Parishad under the parent organization National Social Conference. Okay, so Ramabai Ranade. It is so they have mismatched. So Bharat Mahila Parishad was founded by Ramabai Ranade. Okay, so that is the thing. Founded the Ladies Social Conference, Bharat Mahila Parishad, under the parent organization National Social Conference in 1904 in Bombay. In 1881, she participated in the meetings of Pratna Samaj. She was active in the campaign for women's franchise in India and drew attention to the plight of Indian laborers in Fiji Islands. In 1904, 1908, 1912, and 1920, she presided over the sessions of the Bharat Mahila Parishad. Okay, now, Sarla Devi Chaudhrani convened the first meeting of the Bharat Stri Mahamandal in Allahabad in 1910. Okay, Bharat Stri. So, Bharat Stri Mahamandal. So, this was basically founded by Sarla Devi Chaudhrani. Bharat Sri Mahamandal. Okay. So, it is considered the first major Indian women's organization set up by women. Its objective included the promotion of education for women, the abolition of Pardha system, and improvement in the socio-economic and political status of women all over India. Sarla Devi believed that the men working for women's development lived under the shade of Manu. Now let us see certain other women's organizations. So first we have to look at is the All India Women's Conference. Okay, so All India Women's Conference founded by 1927 by Margaret Cossins, first conference at Ferguson College, Pune. Nature first major women's organization in India with the egalitarian approach. Okay, now first president was the Maharani Chimna Bai Gaikwad of Baroda. Just a minute. Yes, all right. So, what were the objectives? So, upliftment of women and children, promote education for women at all levels, build a society based on social. So, all these things. Now, then, women franchise movement in India, led by Sarojini Naidu. Okay. Then, Women's India Association. Okay. Again, the same Irish lady. Now, next question: in which of the following places did the Dutch establish factories in India? Okay. So Masli A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of them. So Maslibattam, Cochin, Balasore, Surat, Kasim Bazar, and Karaikal. So all these things they have given. Okay. So let us discuss. So Dutch East India Company was formed in 1602 through a charter. Okay. So you know first who came. So first was the Portuguese. Then I think East India Company. Then I think East. Sorry. Then Portuguese. Sorry, Dutch. And then Swedish. I don't know. Actually, I don't remember all these things. Okay. Now, next question. We'll leave this one. So, Battle of Jinahad, the Indian mutineers were led by Barkat Ahmad. Chief Commissioner Awad led the British troops, and Indian side was able to take over the Lucknow in that battle. Okay, not important. Now, this is important. Which one of the following land revenue system was practiced in the region which saw the Deccan Rights of 1875? So, it was Rayotwari system. Okay, so land revenue system is one of the most favorite topics of the UPSC prelims. Okay, so we have to understand all of them. So 12 May 2025 marked the 150th anniversary of Deccan Rights. Societal unrest in the rural Maharashtra sparked by farmers' revolts against exploitative money landers in 1875. The riots of Deccan region of Western India suffered heavy taxation under the Rayotwari system. The peasants found themselves trapped in a vicious network of the moneylender as the exploiter and the main beneficiary. These moneylenders were mostly outsiders, typically Marwaris or Gujaratis. The conditions had worsened due to a crash in cotton prices following the end of American Civil War in 1865. The government's decision to raise land revenue by 50%. Okay, now what is important is this one. So revenue system. So what is Rayotwari system? So this is a type of revenue settlement where the cultivator individually acquired ownership rights in land was known as Rayotwari. Colonial administrators such as Thomas Munro and Alexander Reed opposed the existence of intermediaries between cultivator and the state. The people attacked settlement of land revenue. The cultivator or right. The utilitarian doctrine, which was prevailing ideology in the company's administrative circle at the juncture, was based on the principle of maximizing net pro. So this is so now Jagirdari was there. So revenue assignments were made by Delhi Sultanates, which were termed Ikta, and its holder was the Iktidar. The system was developed to appropriate the surplus from the peasantry and distribute it among the nobles. This also included administration of the area. Now, Bengal Gazette, not important much. See, they have given everything. This is how it was looking like. Okay, so another current affairs question. This one is not important, so we'll leave this one. This one is also not important. We'll leave this one also. See, Madan Mohan Malviya has been in news, and that is why they have asked many questions. I think two times they have questioned asked in last 5 years. Let us see important personalities. So Dadabhai Naoroji. Dadabhai Naoroji hailed from Mumbai in Maharashtra, was the first Indian to elect to the British Parliament in 92. In under he disseminated his theory of drain of wealth, restricting the systematic flow of resources from India to Britain. The theory was developed into a famous book titled Poverty and Un-British Rule in India 1901. The economic exploitation of India by Britain had been a common concern among nationalists, but it was Nauroji who established the direct connection between Britishers and improvised India. Okay, now M.N. Roy. So Narendranath Bhattacharya, a recent freedom fighter later known as M.N. Roy, was born on Roy embarked on his freedom escape to remove the British. So he left. He was uh, he was charged with participating in the Bolshevik conspiracy and committing treason against the king emperor. Roy was put on trial before the session court of Kanpur, but was denied the opportunity to present his case under the pretext that he would spread seditious propaganda. Without a fair trial, sentence to only years of transportation was announced. Where wrote down his defense, which was printed as I accuse, where he accused the imperial rule of hypocrisy governing with now Madan Mohan Malviya. So the pigeon were being exploited by talukdars who accepted as in response to Korisankar Mishra in the 9th Vedi established the United Qualifications by June. Important, not important thing they have given. Not much important question. These are not important questions. Okay. So we'll stop here. Thank you.